fundamentally change yourself, and also wondering whether the perspective that you've gained from being outside of Earth has helped you with that.
Thanks, Dina. To go to the core of your question, the most dangerous thing you're asked to do as an astronaut is to fly the rocket ship. On my last flight, I was in space for 5 months, but 50% of the risk, half of all of the risk that I was going to face in 5 months off the planet was in the first 9 minutes. Its launch is risky. And on my first space flight back 20 years ago, the odds of death were 1 in 38. Which, if Air Canada, which is the national airline, they would crash 9 airplanes a day if they flew at that rate. So how do you face up to danger in your life? And a lot of us, everybody in this room, has just denied themselves something in life because we're afraid of it. We just basically say, I won't do that because I'm afraid. I won't bungee jump. I won't get married. I won't fly an airplane. I won't, whatever. I'm fearful, and therefore I'm just not going to do that thing. But of course, all of those experiences maybe make them worth doing. So how do you change yourself from just hiding behind an amorphous fear to digging into it, to figuring out that this is something worth taking a risk for? We're all going to die eventually anyway. So what things in your life did you decide were worth taking a risk? And to me, I think early on, giving yourself a definition of what success might look like. If these things that I'm doing go perfectly, how's it going to end up? What am I going to be doing? What am I really trying to accomplish with my life? Because that then lets you choose what you're going to do next. I want to walk on the moon. I decided when I was 9. Neil and Buzz are the coolest human beings ever. I want to walk on the moon. I'm 9 years old. What do I do next? And so I started reading about it and learning to scuba dive and join the Air Cadets and learn to fly and go to university. All of those things were trying to gather each of the skills that someday may let me do something that was my end life dream. And the question we all face is not what do I want to be doing in 30 years? It's the real hard question is what should I do next? And to me, that's the real key of how you change yourself, is give yourself a long-term definition of how you want this to turn out so that it helps you choose the small things you need to deliberately whittle away and change about yourself. So that you can separate danger from fear. You can say, this is a risk worth taking. This is a risk not worth taking. This is something that's important to me. And it's amazing if you go through that mental process internally where each of those little next steps can take you.
Now, I'm sure my fellow panellists or our fellow panellists here won't mind if I ask you one more question about this, because everyone wants to know, you did something, you talk about the danger of taking off in the spaceship in the first place. But the other incredibly dangerous thing is something only 200 people roughly have done, which is to walk in space. And you described that as the experience that trumps everything.
It is.
An overwhelmingly visual experience. And I'd just like you to somehow pass on to the audience here what that's actually like.
We don't go outside like in the movies. Gravity. We don't go outside recreationally. And what was George Clooney doing out there? Flying around. It's like he and Sandra met while they were out on a spacewalk. It's dangerous to go outside, but sometimes you need human dexterity. It's things that it takes human creativity to go out and fix something or build something. So once in a while we accept the risk that we need to go outside. I was lucky enough to do 2 spacewalks and to take all the training, do all that thing, all the little next steps that get you to the point where now you can safely do that. The moment comes, you turn the hatch, you clunk it up out of place, and you pull yourself out into the universe. And suddenly, you're not on Mother Earth looking up, sort of like sitting in your mother's lap looking at something. You are in the universe with the world. It's an entirely different perspective. And we were coming across the Indian Ocean in the darkness, and I had all the lights shut off in my suits because I wanted my night vision to adapt, because I wanted to see Perth, and I wanted to pick up Adelaide and Melbourne and Sydney. I wanted to see the cities on the coast. But as soon as my eyes got adjusted, we drove into the Southern Lights. And we're going 5 miles a second, and the southern lights were rippling and pouring between my legs in all of the colors and 3 dimensions, and it was overwhelmingly beautiful. Just an amazing human experience. And this is a natural thing. This is just part of being a planet. This is just the energy from the sun and the upper atmosphere and the fluorescence, but it is just so unconsciously gorgeous. And you don't get that level of understanding without challenging yourself, without deciding that some risks are worth taking. And the most memorable, I guess, the most rewarding moment of my entire life was to have a chance to be one of the first human beings to go out into the universe and get a sense for what it's going to be like when we turn tail to Earth and leave as soon as we solve those problems.
Chris, thanks for giving us here a bit of a sense of that.